Hey there, folks. Time once again to do some retro CSS battles. These are daily targets from the past. Today we're looking at July 25th, 26th, and 27th, 2024, July. Starting out, we got this weirdo guy here. He is just he's shaped like crazy. We're going to use elements, I think, for all of the pieces of this. I think we could use ellipses in certain cases, but I think we're looking at 3 elements. Let's see. Let's see if we can get it done. All right, so we need to use margins to put the. So we're going to do bottom up. We already have the background of this dark green, and then now we have a light green sort of bottom of this cylinder in an interesting way. Okay, so let's see how far we get. Let's do a border radius and do something weird like 50%. Yeah, we'll do 50%. And then if we make him not as tall, we might even be able to just, push him into place. Let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sure. And then if we push him in further, 8, no, 100, 120, 30, 40, 20, 30, 40. It's interesting. I think I saw. So let's give him more height and see what that does to him. So one thing about an ellipse is that curvature is super specific. Let's get the width right. So I'm going to turn off the border radius for a second. Let's just get the width right. 140, 142. Okay. So now let's try the border radius. Now, and we get, that number. We get a circle. So let's make him less tall. Let's make him taller, less tall. 40, 30. And then let's push him down. 190. That looks dead on. I love that. Now, to get that curvature, though, we had to torture him. What if we do 0, 0, 50%, 50%? Do we get the same result? The answer is yes. Can we use another value? Because if we can, well, it doesn't matter. At this point, it doesn't matter. Because probably we're going to use that same thing. If we just, well, hey, what happens if we, so 50%, yeah, we would like to use another number there. Because if we can do this border radius once and make this make him taller. So let's do we've got 50%, 50%. Can we provide a value that does the same thing? 50 pixels, 50 pixels. Let's try that. And that's no good. We need bigger numbers. How about 100? And 20, 30. Okay, so we're warping him so much. 0, 0, 100 pixels, 100 pixels, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 50, 40, 80. Yeah, it's really just not working, is it? Something about the height plus the width are important there. And what this has me thinking is, do we want to do we want to create him once and then have it be a box shadow? The issue is that we've got overlapping pieces that make this way more complicated. So let's make another one. Now that we've made one. Well, no. I don't remember exactly how I did this. I know that I didn't do it as efficiently as I'm doing this, and this is not very efficient anyway. Now, one of the things is this, the border radius syntax allows you for some strange syntax, right? Like look at how odd that syntax is. That's very odd syntax. I'm not gonna go into that today, but we're gonna see. We'll do the next part next, because I think we're gonna use the same guy again, but now we need a second element, and it's just the big saucer. So we'll call him P, capital S. So capital S has a different background for him. Oh, and then sure, let's do all this code in uppercase, even though that's goofy. Okay, there he is, and then his margins are going to be there he is, 4, and then he's taller, 60 something, kind of getting there, 60, 70, 80, 90, 90, 80, 85, and then less margins on the side, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. That's pretty good. Now I do see these edges here. don't believe you me, I see those edges. All right, okay. How about 305, 295? So are we just a little bit less? How about 3, 2? So this height is wrong. Is he too tall? He's too tall. So go back to 80. No, go back to 80. How about 75? 75 looks a little more right. Whoa, 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 whoa. Browser, everything is freezing. Okay. Oh, man. Everything just froze. Well, not doing this video. I don't know what happened there, but if I'm talking about a glitch now and maybe you didn't see it, but everything froze, we will carry on. Okay, 24. $80 tall. Okay, and then all right, let's see what we can do to get this worked out. Okay, so then he's too tall. 87, 87. Wrong. So we're dealing with the wrong number. Oh boy. So many problems. 42. Okay, now border radius here 50%. Okay, and like we said before we had our glitch in the video, we were going to do all of his code is in uppercase, which there's nothing stopping you from doing that. Nothing at all. And then there's this next guy. All right. So then this second guy we're going to call B, or U for upper. U, and then his margins are going to be slightly different. Margin, right now he's 190, 142, but we need that to be like 160. No, we need to be like 200. So we need to move him down. So that means this margin gets more. 2, 4, 5, and there it is. Goofy, yes, goofy. And then the final element, capital L for last. I don't know what's making me do these very, very odd attributes. Possibly it's the video glitching. So let's give him a silly background color, background of red. So we make sure we see him when he comes into view. His margins are going to be probably minus, there it is, -4. We need to be at the top of, and then give him more height. And his border radius. Oh goodness. Since then, since my video was glitching, my computer crashed hard. I spent about an hour recovering from that. It's all good. I do have the video from the first part. This will be the second part, and it'll all be seamless as you watch it. All right, and I also lost all this code, but I've just watched the video and recreated my code. It's sort of hopeful to look at my code and see, hey, I can read it on the video. Like, hey, I can do this and get exactly to the point where I am now. All right, so next steps. We were doing the top of this guy. We've still got pieces to do, but it's not too bad. 50%. We're gonna change the border radius, I think, is the next step. We're gonna do 50%, 50%, 0, 0, and hopefully that will do it for us. And then I'm gonna do this background. Again, I really am feeling like speed, given that it's transparent to you that, and speaking, I'm just putting transparent here, that all of these technical glitches are happening. But it's not to me, and so I feel like I'm behind. I'm having to rush to catch up, and you just don't know. I guess it helps me appreciate filmmakers and how long things take. So I just created this linear gradient, and hey, it looks like this little transparent cube, like transparent dome, which is sort of an interesting effect, right? You get that effect. Your eye says, hey, that's kind of interesting. Now I'm going to put a color stop here, 30%, and then a 0, and basically just work my way down, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 75, and then it's done. All right, and then the last piece of this, I am going to do a conic gradient just to end it up for fun. I think fun is the word I'm looking for there. 75%, and this is going to be an at, like, do we know the width? Again, I don't pay attention to the widths of things. I probably ought to. When I do the margins like this, I'm just tweaking the numbers. I'm molding in like clay. I'm not measuring in like an architect, I would say. I don't know if that's a good metaphor, but it is what it is. All right. That background is not doing what I want because I need the bright color here. That's the one. All right. So let's use background position to move him around, and he needs to be moved over more, 3, 4, 5, and up more, so 160, 170, and then 175, let's say. And let's submit that and see if we've got a solution. That's 100%. Right, we have a solution, and it looks pretty good, and that's it. And that's where we're going to end. No, that's not where we're going to end. I can't leave these variables. I do like the uppercase for the uppercase S. Past me dealing with computer glitches was kind of funny. It's a reminder that HTML is case insensitive, mostly. There are instances where you can get bitten by case of things, but I'm not thinking of them. Mostly for this kind of CSS specification business, you're okay in uppercase. All right, so let's variabilize these things, because that's one of the things I like to do to cut down on what am I cutting down on? Cutting down on the character count, because this is code golf. Well, now here's your example. If I do --b here, right, that works. What if I do an uppercase B? It does not work. So there's your example of where uppercase and lowercase don't do the same thing. So, and we'll do var --m lowercase m, and then --m. Great, and then height is going to be a variable as well. Var h for height, lowercase, --h. Just out of habit, I'll remove that trailing there, --h, and then this background is --b, etc., 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 --m, --h. And then border radius also is a variable. Var. We'll call that R for radius. Yeah, sure. Border radius. And --r. And then we can minify and submit again. Oh, and I just ruined it with the minification, and I'm submitting bad code. Let's undo. So I did something wrong there. Whoops, 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 whoops. There's the moment when I ruined it. Again, rushing. --m, still good. --b, still good. M. A reminder to check your work continuously. Code is very powerful, but it also can be very brittle. Hey, that's not working. That's interesting. So what do we got here? Oh, because it's var --r, comma, 50%. Oh, and there it is. Probably that's what it did. It was helping me, saying, "Oh, you need a paren right there." I'm not sure that the editor always does that, but today it did. So let's reminify. Still the same look, and unit replace and submit, and then that's a solution to our sort of flying saucer business, and a better score than I've gotten in the past. All right, picking it up where we left off. Oh, we got the circles. We got the circles going. So let's go blank template and remove him. And I'm curious to know about, here's what I'm curious about. Remove the margins. I'm curious about these little side circles. Radial gradient, circle, and then the dark blue. What I want to know is if that circle fits inside the blue. If it does, that's one thing. If it doesn't, that's another thing. So let's do this. Let's do I'm going to try 40 pixels. and then 0. Okay, and then I guess I can move him over. So he's a little too small or too big. 2, 5, 40. Oh. So I'm in the middle. 40 might be right, but I gotta move him. Yeah, so I'm looking at the diff and minus 20 pixels, let's say. Is that, how about 90? 90, that looks pretty clean. So for this one, I have a nice clean edge there. So I'm gonna make this circle --c with this, put them in a variable, and I do var --c, and there he is. And probably, well, I'm gonna cut him, paste him several times. And then do a that, and then add 90 pixels, and then minus 90 pixels. How come I'm not seeing anything? I'm not seeing anything. Not seeing anything. Oh, because this ought to be transparent. Okay, so I got 4 circles, but they're in the wrong places because the x-axis for the second ones need to be 0, of course. They're not moving off that axis. Now, we could also make them repeat. Do we want to make them repeat? Is that a good idea? Am I asking for trouble? Maybe. Let's nuke the second ones of each of these. And then we're going to give to him, we give a width of 50%. Kind of. Okay, and then we need a different offset. Let's try 0. So are they the right distance apart? They're not. So maybe 40%. And then let's move him 100, 10, 20, 30. Okay, so how about 45%? And then 2. That looks okay. So then we get to use him once, and then we're okay. All right, for this guy, so we won't be, because of the 45% is of 400 across, we won't be able to use 45% for the height for this guy. So for this, we want a width of 100% and then a height of some other number. Let's try 50%, and you get that. So the same technique. Let's try 40%. They're too close together. How about 45%? 48. And then let's offset him. So they are too close together. So we want like 60 or something. Maybe. I'm guessing. 10, 20, 30, 60%. And then the final bit is a radial gradient again, which is the inner blue, the dark blue, and the inner blue again. And we don't need this. I just noticed that we still keep it around that paragraph tag specifier. We do need the keyword circle. And I know that some watchers are like, hey, you could use a Q unit. Like, I know I can use a Q unit. I do know. Again, these are for fun, not for the precise best ever score to beat every player. That's not why I do this. All right, 50, 51, 52, 53, 53, 53Q. Not too bad. Okay, and then how about, let's try a percent for this one. 50%. That's too much. 40%. Sure. And then submit him as well. Come on now. That's 100% match, and we will take him for sure. Minify, and unit replace still looks good. Resubmit, and I think that's going to be our final answer. So 3 gradients, one of which is the same base gradient but with different background positions and background sizes. And that's a great way to get a pattern. Just reuse the same thing. I was looking at, there was an art show recently in the UK, and I'll be talking about this week in Front and Study Hall, where a beautiful seaside landscape was done only with HTML and CSS. Really terrific work. You can make art with CSS. Yes, that is absolutely a thing you can do. All right, and then lastly, a little flower. Okay. In the spirit of, what's the spirit of? Oh, and you know what we can do actually? One thing that I usually do when I do all on the body. Sorry, changing gears. Use the ampersand rather than the body, and then you can shave a few more characters. I know I said I didn't care about the scores, but I care a little about the scores. I just don't, it's the least interesting part of all of this. I just really love the CSS of it. So here, I wonder what will it take and how efficiently can I do this all in gradients? Because I just don't love a gradient. All right, so let's do the parts of this flower. Okay. Shall we grow the flower from the bottom? That sounds like a silly way to do this, and so of course that is the way I'm going to do it. Conic. I'm going to start. Actually, let's do a linear gradient. That is, and we'll put orange in the background, right? And then we'll do all gradients with only yellows in them. If we can do that, we're going to find out if we can do that. So we're going to do this linear gradient, and we learned the other day that you can just put a single color in here, and a linear gradient will just do that, which is so strange to me. We're going to put it at 0 and then 100 pixels down or something. And then the width is 100%. And the height is like 200 pixels, and then it repeats only on the x-axis, which give you repeats only on the y-axis. No, on the x-axis, and we got to be on the 90-degree. Or maybe it's got a no repeat. No, or is it repeat y, repeat x? No. This is all wrong. 100 pixels. Repeat X. Oh, because I've got the background color. Ugh. So again, that is a case of me self-own in this case. Because why? Actually, you know what? Why do we need, if we can do this, can't we just position and size and no repeat? So we can do, maybe it's 15 pixels wide, and call it 200 pixels tall. And then no repeat. And that's a stem, right? So if I move him over, down, there's our stem. 190, happy little stem. Okay, and then he's 20 wide. Might be 20 wide. And I can do like 60% tall. Oh, if I do 60% tall, I probably have to move him down. Yeah, 120. There it is. Okay, I'm gonna put that orange back on the background and see if that's good and clean. And it is. Great. All right, so we're growing this flower. Now, radial gradient, and we want a half circle. I think, I mean, it's possible this is not going to work, because if this is more of an ellipse than a circle, I don't remember doing this puzzle, so it could burn me here. But I'm going to say circle. and it's a circle at 50%, which is the top middle at this point, and then 0, and so now it's the top middle. So it's 50% is the middle, and 50% is the default for backgrounds, I believe. Don't quote me on that. Effectively, that's how it behaves. Now you got me making me think. No, it's true for images. I know that. Regardless, that's a digression. So now let's do yellow and a comma between. So this circle gradient, what happens if I give him just a size? So he fills at a position. So that kind of works weirdly, even though it's got only one color stop. Yeah, but it behaves, it doesn't behave like a circle. Why? Because, well, it doesn't have an end. And so this needs an end. That's sort of fun to learn. So there's your half circle. And I'm going to put that orange back so that I can really control him and see that in the diff. All right, so we move him over. $150, very nice. All right, and then he's a little bigger, which means we need to move him up a little. Right now he's at 50%. So that looks pretty good. So if I make him a little bigger, 70. Ooh, almost. So this circle, so his extent, maybe he's 75. And then 75. Oh, he's a tricky one, isn't he? All right, so let's so here's the thing that's, I think having that size is hurting me a little bit. So I don't need the snow repeat. I'm just gonna do that. And then move him down. So if I do 0, 100 pixels, I can just move him down. I can move him down 7. All right, so I got 70 there. 50, let's try 50. 50, 60, 70, 60, 65. Oh, is that good? I'm not sure that's good. 75, 80, 85. That's a problem. You see that problem? I hope you can see that problem. So see an ellipse. And then if I give him, so we're kind of in the right spot. Right now I believe that ellipse is at 100%, or he's at 400 pixels. 300 pixels is the extent of that ellipse. Because that's the height and the width, but not quite, it looks like. What if I make that 350, 360, 370, 380, 390? So 400 would be a circle. That's almost true, but just not quite true. It's like not quite true enough. And again, that concerns me. It makes me think that all gradient is not the way to go here. So if that's true, we need to make an element. So let's say nope to that. We're going to add color to the background there. Now we need a paragraph element or some kind of element. It doesn't really matter. I'm choosing the paragraph element because out of habit more than anything. I'm going to say background, that yellow, height, 100, and we're going to push, these margins are going to be, push them down a bit, and then push them in on the sides, 150. And we see nothing. Why? I don't know. His height, we got a margin because I put orange as his color and not yellow. That's why. Oh, yeah. It's 7, 5, 4, 5, 50. 4, 3, 28, 29, 28, 27, 27. All right. Now, border radius. 0, 50 pixels. And that's not right. 50 pixels, 0. No, it's 0, 0, 0, 0. It's been so long since I've been avoiding border radius, multiple border radiuses as much as possible. But that makes me forget what the syntax is. 40, 60, 60. So that's a radius of 60 on an element of 100, which is a kind of deforming that a little bit, which is the reason that that works the way it does. All right, so then this background. So our options. One option would be to cut it out using clip path. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points. We could use a linear gradient, sized and repeating, or we could use my favorite, the conic gradient. Let's do the conic gradient technique because I would like a win today. Really feeling like a bit of frustration around how these videos are going, given the technical glitches. I know what it is really, you know, computers sometimes have issues, but you know, regardless. So what's this conic gradient? It's from 45 degrees, I think. It might be like something like 40 degrees, but I think it's from 45 degrees. And then it's yellow almost all the way around, 75% of the way around, and then transparent and that's how you get that shape. And then I need to put a center position for him at 50%, right, the middle, and then, you know, 10%, 20, 30. Oh, look at that. So it's just a little off. It's not exactly 75 degrees. So one of the things I found is that when doing precise things like this, percentages are less precise because you get 100 measures of percent by default. But in degrees, you got 360. So you can be much more precise. So I'm going to say 90 degrees as a start. And so I'm going to, let's see. So we adjust these degrees. So we're starting from a different position. Is it more or less? So let's do less. 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 0.5. 47.5 looks pretty good. And then 90 is too much. Let's try 88. Like that. That's not right. Oh, because why? Oh, because... Why is... Oh, because that's... I have the wrong number. Wrong number, sir. 270 degrees is the correct number. 60, 61, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 265 degrees of yellow. So, yeah. And that's how we get that repeating pattern of the top of that flower. You get to, again, oh, and that's telling me that I've got 8% correct. That sounds low. What did I do wrong here? I think it doesn't like my linear gradient syntax. That's my paranoiac thing there. If I undo this, what do I get? If it's 8%, then I'm right. It is 8%. So Chrome doesn't like this syntax. So yeah, I don't think this is really valid syntax. And I don't want to steer you wrong. I appreciate, you know, the best CSS battlers actually will use and exploit strange Chrome syntax to get the best scores. That's code golf. That's great. A+. To me, it's a far less interesting thing to do that. Like, it's not my style, man. Like, I don't like it. So here's what we're gonna do. This background, just start again from first principles. We're going 90 degrees, transparent, 180 degrees. No, it's 180. I'm changing my units. Oh, just can't keep it together today. 0. How about 200 pixels? Something like that. 0. And I don't see anything, and that makes me sad. Why? I don't see anything. Nothing on the body. Why don't I see anything? I got something syntactically wrong. There's a missing comma. That's why. All right. Yeah. Again, not on my A game apparently today. 190, 210. Boom. And then I can move him down, so I can say he's at 0, and then 10 pixels, and then no repeat. So if I move him down, you know, like 100 pixels. And then add orange in the background. And then submit that. That's better CSS. And when I say better, I mean more closer to the spec, and that's 100% match. Closer to the spec and more reusable in different browsers. And that's ought to be our goal. It's true. Some browsers can do some things that other browsers can't do. That's the way it works. But there are also aspects of browsers that are odd and peculiar, and you can't rely on to operate that way, because that's just how they work here on, you know, April 21st when I'm doing this at this moment in time. But that is likely to change. Browsers are always a moving target in terms of how syntactically they work. There are slight changes that happen over time. The web is very much a living medium. So, all right, that's enough. That's enough talk about browser theory and such. But you know, it's also a pretty flower. Let's appreciate the pretty flower. So yeah, fascinating. So the single color linear gradient kind of works, but probably is not a real thing. You must have more than one color stop to really have something show up. Otherwise, the browser's like, that ain't a gradient. That's not a valid value for that. Okay, so returning, we got the spaceship, and just a reminder that this linear gradient business that we've got in here, kind of cool. Like he's kind of cool. Like I really like that. Like I think that's a really neat effect. Like if you were gonna make like a spacecraft, you could put a little guy's head in there, like a little image of a head. You add a new layer in there in the illustration, and you got a little spacecraft. I might do that. Like make a little, I don't know, space car, something like that. The web is super fun. I don't know, you can make stuff. They got the circles, meat and potatoes, I would say, for those of you who eat meat and eat potatoes. That means it's basic. It's super simple, but a very useful and graphic element. It reminds me a lot of what, like Japanese family insignia, right? If you ever go looking for those, incredibly graphic and intricate and beautiful, but also simple in a way too. So I'm saying intricate, but a real cleanliness to their graphic design. Centuries before modernists invented clean, simple graphic design. Yeah, the Japanese were doing this. All right, that's. I'm on every tangent today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Go make a web page. Be kind to each other. A reminder that it is brutal out there. So really be kind to each other, because it's not easy. All right. Bye-bye.